Devinci Troy. It's
So
a hot ticket item right now, isn't it? It's pretty
yeah.
popular. Stevie Smith.
Won the Air DH on it.
Yeah.
Which is
Crankworks.
you know, a great selling feature for an all-mountain bike.
Yeah,
jump
that's a funny
course.
thing.
I don't know. I felt uncomfortable on the bike. It felt cramped to me. I like the suspension activity of it. I think it's a beautiful bike. It's got a decent spec on it. I felt like it was really short, and we just looked at the numbers, and they don't add up because it's a 24.5-inch top tube with a 72 degrees C-tube angle, and that should all work out just fine, but it just felt like really short to me. Did it feel really short to you?
Really short, like really complicated short. It felt like the handlebars were there and you lapped the whole time, so it's making you, when you're seated, you were sat really high up.
Mm-hmm.
And when you stood up to, you know, in the neutral position, you were like trying to get away from the handlebars, so it was pushing your weight real far back. There's something weird going on there because it was unfeasibly short for a bike. Especially
Were you guys have the same cockpit on your laps?
I changed out that had a Easton Haven handlebar on it, which I changed out for a Havoc, which is a 750.
Yeah.
Which made it a little bit better for me. But
I felt like the bike, I didn't feel like it was as small, but I'm a more diminutive person than you giants.
Well, it's funny.
So
I'm a medium person. I came home and I thought the bike we were riding was a medium, and I got home thinking, wow, that's really short for a medium. Are you sure we haven't got a short? You know, we've had a few shorter ladies that were testing. I wonder whether it were being picked out for them.
right.
And then I found the sticker that said large.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, my whole world came crumbling down. I did some measurements on it as well, and it seems to measure up as a large, according to their website. But then, we're reading it saying the top tube should be nice and long, according to their statistics. And we didn't test out the length of the top tube on our own tape measure before we came here, but it's just really, really short. And I think it really holds the bike back.
I had a hard time making a lot of the technical climbs on it because of that fact. However, like when I slammed the seat and started going downhill, it felt like a tiny little downhill bike. I mean, I had a good time maneuvering it.
Yeah, it was super responsive. It seems to be the rear end with the split pivot, and it was very plush and very comfortable, and there was a bit of traction there. Very short chainstays as well, like 430 mil as well. So
It was pretty snappy.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a maneuverable bike. I found that it climbed really well because of the split pivot.
Just a lot of traction.
Well, you could leave the shock open the whole time, you know, which I love to do.
Yeah.
You know, and you could just leave it open. It climbs really well. You go, you know, you don't have to mess around with switches or dials or anything. I thought that the bike behaved like really, really well. It was a great bike, except for the fit seemed to be off. I'd like to actually try the XL.
Yeah, it's a very comfortable bike. There's no sportiness to it, I think, because of the sizing. Like, it demands the rider to kind of sit in the saddle, and it feels like a big, comfy gel saddle that you can sit in and just pedal around all day. And, you know, that might suit some riders, but personally, it was too short. I also had some problem with the spec as well. There's some really good parts of the spec. It had a Fox 34 fork on the front, and then it has some trail XOs, which is really cool, and it had a bash guard on the chainring as well. These are all like very all-mountain, like aggressive kind of products to put on your bike. And then it had Racing Ralph, Schwalbe Racing Ralph, 2.3 tires.
Yeah, what was that?
Zero traction on those tires. Like, it's just such a mix mash. Like,
And then, I don't know what you think about the 2x10 setup on it. It's a SRAM 2x10, but it was a 2236. Which, you know,
I stayed in my big ring the whole lap.
I'd prefer, if it was going to be a 2x10, I would prefer a more traditional 2x10 ratio. Because the gap between 22 and 36 is huge.
yeah.
And I want something in the middle of that. When you drop off of the 36 into the 22, you got to make up gears
So many
on the right,
dropping them, yeah.
right? So
But it just seems a very confused bike. Those tires, they just didn't seem to make sense for how. Maybe it did make sense. I mean, are they really trying to sell this to someone who's wants a 140 bike, wants a carbon 140 bike that they can bash through off-road, but not really ever get aggressive? Because those tires, you can't. There's no knobs, side knobs on them. Nothing you can angulate on. You can't put any aggressive acceleration or braking into them because they just lose traction all the time.
At least the tires are an easier swap.
They are, but
It's the
But
principle.
still,
It's the
tires
principle
are
you
like,
buy-
you know,
buy a
50 to
bike.
80 bucks a pop.
Especially Schwalbe's.
And you want, I mean,
They're-
if you're
they're
gonna
not cheap.
buy a brand new bike, it's difficult to spec tires on a bike because people are buying it all over the world, right? But that's almost universally not a great tire in a lot of people's opinions. I mean, obviously it's subjective.
yeah, maybe as a great rolling, like it's very low rolling resistance on those tires. So
Yeah, but
having
it should
on
be
a
on a
cross-country-
cross-country bike,
Yeah.
for that matter. I mean, it definitely was the odd thing out
Yeah.
on the bike.
All in all, I think that the Troy is a really great bike, but I don't know if they nailed the sizing correctly. Maybe people just have to go a size up on it than they normally would.
Maybe 2 sizes up.